Hello students, let's continue with the topic report writing and internal correspondence. In my last lecture, we had seen what is negative report writing and persuasive report writing. Now in business, negative report writing means a bad news message, that is a letter, memo or email which conveys a negative or unpleasant information to you, like it disappoints you, it upsets you, or even it can anger you as a reader. On the other hand, persuasive report writing is one in which an attempt is made to get the reader to agree with one's point of view. Like for example, you can say proposals, advertisement, etc. Now, today we are going to start with special reports. Now, what are these special reports? Special report, here you can say it is not like our routine business reports. Here special reports are written with a purpose, like for example you can say it has a systematic format which varies slightly according to the requirements of the organization and the subject of the report. It does not deal with the routine affairs of the organization, and they are you can say for example written for a rare case, like you can say special report is presented before the top management on specific request of them. So you can say it usually contains the opinions or recommendation of the reporter with the help of facts and arguments. Now there are certain types of special reports, like first hand information report, investigation report, feasibility or survey report, or project report. First we are going to start with first information report. Now children, here this is required when there is a disaster like fire, building collapse or robbery or accident in an organization. It is prepared by a responsible person on the spot or the person in charge for submission to a higher authority. For example, the branch manager prepares it for submission to regional office or head office, or you can say the report has to give all the information which is available immediately after the incident occurs. So here it must state what happened, about what time, who first noticed it, what steps were taken immediately, and it also states the extent of destruction or loss of life, property and important papers, etc., as can be estimated immediately. So this is you can say it is first hand information report. After that comes investigation report. Now here student, this is written after making a thorough study and inquiry. An investigation is made when there is a problem and the management needs to find out the causes of the problem and needs suggestion for solving it. For example, falling sales in the company, declining deposits in a bank, and many customer complaints or loss in a branch, etc. When these are the cases, that time the higher authorities appoints a person to you can say specifically investigate the matter. So here this person you can say is the head, and under him there are certain people. So altogether they form a committee. So here you can say a committee is appointed to find out the causes of the problem, and they have to suggest the measures to prevent it from occurring again. So it requires collection of facts which are not always easy to get. The collected information has to be analyzed by the higher authorities. Conclusions have to be drawn and they have to suggest the recommendations also. Now here students, since such reports require a great deal of work, thinking, discussion, consideration, so they are usually assigned to a committee of a competent and experienced person who can do the work very nicely. So a simple investigation of a small problem may be assigned to an individual who has knowledge and experience in that field, you can say. After that is third one is feasibility or survey report. Now here students, a feasibility report is required when an organization intends to launch a new product in a market, or you can say introduce a new service or make any major changes that may affect the company's customers. The proposed field or area has to be surveyed and its conditions observed and recorded. They have to look into the matter very minutely. The factors have to be noted and recorded, depend on the purpose of the survey. The purpose may be to consider the suitability of the site for a factory, it can be, or to evaluate the feasibility or the financial viability of the proposal, or to survey the market, or to estimate the damage, anything it can be. So for some purposes, only physical survey and inspection of the area may be sufficient. For other reason like availability of essential requirement in the area, attitude of the local people, state government policies, possible expenses, etc. will be needed. So here you can say a survey may be made by an individual or by a committee depending on the size of the survey here to be made. For example, if a factory is to be established, the survey involves a great deal of work and a committee would be appointed. If the damage to a piece of machinery is to be surveyed for this purpose, estimating the loss, so an engineer individually can also do it. So it depends according to the size of the survey, how many people should be involved in that. If it is to a larger extent, so a committee should be established for the purpose. But if it is a minor one, so only a person can also do it or solve it. After that, the last one is project report. A project report here you can say is mainly written after the proposal takes shape and after the preliminary survey has been completed. So you can say it describes the proposal as projected into the future, showing the cash flow, expected results. It is used for planning and also convincing others, especially like sanctioning or functioning authorities like government departments and banks. So here you can say a project report is not assigned. It is prepared by the person who want to get their proposal sanctioned. Now I will show you a specimen of a report. Okay, let's see. See here, given below is specimen report here. Salutation, subject. Your report is on like suitable premises for shifting the Premnagar branch of Janata Bank. Now here the bank has appointed you as a person to do the survey and find out here the suitable place for the Premnagar branch of Janata Bank, because now there may be some reasons why the present premises is not suitable to continue working there. So here see how you can present the report. First you will write the salutation, then you will give the subject. After that you can write, in accordance with your instruction, I have visited our Premnagar branch and carefully studied the business transaction being carried out there. I do find out that Mr. B.S. Jagdale, our branch manager, is quite justified in desiring a shift to better premises. Space shortage in the present premises. Now, the branch manager here, he has forwarded, you can say, proposal to the main branch here that the present premises where he is working, Premnagar premises, is falling short of space. So that's why there is a need to shift the bank here. So the main branch, they had given you the responsibility to do the survey and find out the matter here. So see how you are presenting the report. This branch of our bank was opened at Premnagar in 1965 when Premnagar was a small town with a population for about 50,000. Ever since, it has fast developed into an industrial city, Premnagar. Now see here, you are giving the reason that when it was established in 1965, the place was just a small town. But now it has developed into an industrial city now. Premnagar Fertilizers and Public Sector Undertaking and a unit of the Solapur Chemicals Limited has started functioning here. See, so many industries are set up here. With these factories as the nucleus, a whole industrial complex has come into existence. The population of the town has gone up to 3 lakhs. See how detailed survey the person has done here. The business of this branch has been steadily growing. It is a fact that it is one of the most profitably running branches of Janata Bank. Now here you have to tell here that as there are so many you can say industries set up here, so business of this branch is also growing here. But though the present premises of the bank are ideally suited, they are being found highly inadequate. every inch of space available here has to be pushed into service, with the result of the whole atmosphere appears to be congested. You have to tell, as the business is growing of Janata Bank of Premnagar here, Premnagar branch, because of this industrial sector, the space is becoming inadequate for everyone to use. They have used each in every inch of the space here, but still you can find that it is very congested. During the peak business hour, the bank presents an unwavering sight, means it becomes very crowded and congested for the people to work properly. Such an atmosphere can be hardly considered conducive to efficient business transaction. Besides, with such discouraging look, the bank can neither attract nor cope up with the new customer. Means if it is so crowded and all, new customers won't find it comfortable to come and you can say have the deposits or transaction through this bank. Mr. Jagdale is right in his observation that if we continue to function here, our further progress will definitely be jeopardized. Means here, the main branch officer, here Mr. Jagdale, he has suggested to the main branch here, Premnagar branch, Mr. Jagdale has suggested to the main branch that if they continue in the same premises here, the business won't progress. So he wants to, you have done the survey, so you are telling it is very correct. So propose alternative site. You find it that whatever he has proposed or whatever he wishes, it's correct. So you are giving an alternative site also for that. Sorry. Since it is undesirable to move to a distant place, means the present premises is a very suitable place where it is been situated, but still the space is less, so we say that it is undesirable to move to the other place, but I have concentrated all my efforts on finding out some building suitable for our growing requirements in the very locality. So means the person has done, the XYZ person has done a survey and he has find out a suitable building where you can start the Premnagar branch. Bank Lane is one of the biggest shopping complexes of Premnagar, and it is not easy to find any suitable building here. Means he is saying he has found out that Bank Lane, which is one of the business shopping complexes, it is the very suitable place to shift in, and others are not very good one. But fortunately, a building just in our neighborhood double the size of the one we are now occupying and is spacious enough to meet our requirement. And then he say that the you can say fortunately building just next to the Premnagar branch is very spacious one and it can meet their requirement. Is falling vacant next month. It the biggest advantage, it is close proximity to our present premises, so that if we are shifting there, none of our customer will be inconvenienced. Means if we go far away, the customer will not find it very suitable or convenient, and as this one is just next to our building, so here the customer won't find any problem if we shift in there. It is a double-story building with large hall nearby 20 meters in 12 meters and 2 rooms 5 meters, 4 meters each on the ground floor and identical accommodation on the first floor. You have to just give description of the area. The large hall on the ground floor can provide enough space to set up all the counters needed. One of the rooms can be converted into branch manager's office, while the other can be converted into strong room. Loans and advances section can be accommodated on the first floor. A part of the hall on the first. See every detail where you can do what that person has surveyed and find out. The other 2 rooms can be used for keeping records and storing stationery. Of course, we shall have ourselves bear the cost of the building the strong room and the safe deposit vault as well as affecting any other changes we deem suitable. So, preliminary negotiations and rentals. Now, you have given the reason why the main branch officer wanted to shift in and why he is justified. What is the alternative site you have found out. Now, preliminary negotiation, what you have concluded. I have already had preliminary negotiation with Mr. Shendel, the person who owns that building, the owner of the building. He is also a valued customer of ours, means he also has account in our bank. It appears that he is willing to rent out the building to us at a monthly rent of rupees 10,000. It will initially be leased out to us for a period of 5 years. and I have verified that the building is free from all encumbrances. Means there is no you can say legal issue with the bank, with the building. Sorry. Then your recommendations. The rent of this building appears to be little on the higher side, but in view of its strategic location, I have no hesitation in recommending that this building should be immediately be rented. Means as it is very next to the main branch of Prem Nagar, and the customer won't find any problem, and it is very spacious. So though they are asking for more rent, it is okay. You are suggesting it. Estimates for the proposed alterations are enclosed. A letter of consent from Mr. Shende offering the building on rental basis for a period of 5 years will be obtained and sent to you after we receive your approval. You have to tell, once you are okay with this proposal, I can ask that person to give us consent letter for renting the building and complimentary clause. And you as PG Sarpodar, development manager, you have done the survey. That is your report. So in this way, children, you have to present the report. After that, we are going to start with informal report. Now, what is this informal report? So here you can say informal report is usually in the form of a person-to-person communication. Here, this informal report, it does not follow any rules and procedures directed by an organization. An informal report can be prepared in one page, or if it required, it can be prepared in several pages too. So here you can say such report is quickly prepared and does not require any extended planning and all. You don't have to follow the format and all, etc. Such here you can say the main purpose of informal report is to present certain information, and there is no opportunity to add personal comment or opinion in such report. Actually, you can say informal report are shortest as well as simplest of all kinds of report. They don't use any you can say business language in that. These reports are mostly frequently used to report in business. Informal reports are generally written in memo or letter formats, etc. Now we are going to see what are the types and functions of informal report. Now see, types and functions of informal report. Informational report and analytical report. Now informational report can be incident report. Here you describe the event in the workplace to officially document them for legal and insurance purpose. Means you are verbally describing them, what has happened here, so that you get insurance for that purpose and all. After that, progress report. Here you monitor and control the production, sales, shipping, services or related business processes. The report presented in for such matters is known as what? Progress report. Then compliance report. Documents and indicates the extent to which product or service is within established compliance parameters or standard. Now every product, in every firm, the product which is made, it has a prescribed standard and parameter here. So here you present the report when the product is finally made, whether it is in according to that prescribed format or your prescribed parameters or standards or not. Financial report, here it analyzes the status and trends of a finance from a finance perspective, whether it is benefiting the firm, whether the firm is going in loss, whether it is according to the market price and all. After that, investigate report. Investigate report, your student, it responds to the request for information about a specific problem or situation. Any specific problem. Now here, how the person, he was asked that he wants to shift in the bank branch here from to other place because the place is inadequate, the space is inadequate. So you have appointed one person to do the survey and present the report for the same. Activity report, here document the ongoing activities and projects of division or department. Whatever is going on in the firm, the presently what activities are going on, you present the report on it. Sorry. After that, analytical reports. Analytical reports are of like benchmark, yardstick report. Here it evaluates two or more solutions to a single problem to determine the best solution. Means you have two or more solution to any problem here. So you determine which one is the best one. For that you do the survey and then you present the report. Then feasibility report, as it assesses the advisability of doing a project or proceeding with specific course of action. Means whether it is suitable or it is unsuitable, whether it can be beneficial for the firm or it can be you can say cause you can say harm or endanger the name of the or standard of the you can say firm and all like that. Recommendation report, it makes recommendation to management and serves as a tool to solve the problem and execute the decisions. Now see here one example. Informal report for purchase of software. You want to purchase a software. So here you are being asked to present a report which is which software will be suitable for the firm to purchase. So like you can say it is an informal report. So here you will just write the market for purchasing software packages for businesses is constantly changing. However, four current developments in software acquisition seems to buying with confidence and user services. Means many people are buying for software. I recommend that you use the service of PC Telemart or SmartFax India, which is an example of such a company. Then complementary clause. So what you have done here, you have just informally presented, you have told, you have found out from the market which software is better to purchase here and you have suggested the name of the software. After that, we are going to see what is proposal. Now here children, an important exercise in business communication is proposal writing. Now here a proposal you can say is a persuasive offer to complete a task submitted either voluntarily or in response to a request or an advertisement here. Means here you self want to suppose you have started a firm here and you want the people, you want the customers to know what product you have, what is the quality, what is the quotations and all, whatever it is. So for that you need to present a proposal and then you can say give to the people, give to the customers or distribute among the sellers and all like that. So here it can be voluntarily done, means if you wish, or it can also be in response to a request or an advertisement. Suppose there is an advertisement where they ask you to present or to forward the quotations and all, then your firm, so there will be so many firms, construction companies and all, they will present their quotations and the government who have or XYZ thing who have given an advertisement, they will choose whichever is suitable to them. So here you can say it can be voluntarily done or it can be in response to the request or an advertisement. Here it is basically like a report. Though it is a proposal, you can say it is basically like a report, and like a report it can be long or it can be short or it can just run into few pages. It all depends upon the kind of proposal or the amount of money likely to be spent on a particular thing. Unlike a report, you can say children, a proposal may be sent to an expert or a review committee for evaluation and recommendation considering the benefits of the proposed services and products. After that, now we'll see what is meaning of proposal in business. Now here business proposal is a document in writing sent by a supplier to the potential client. Like you, as I told you, you as a person, if you have started any firm and you want the people to know what you have to sell in, so you present a proposal, you write a proposal here. Here you want to win the client, you want to win a project, so that's why you're presenting your proposal here. Here you can say at heart it is a sales document that includes all standard information found in similar documents like estimate, bids and quotes. So here a proposal you can say children, it puts the buyer's requirement in context that favors the seller's product and services, and it educates the buyer about the capabilities of the seller in satisfying him. Now here these proposals are of mainly two types, like research proposals and business proposals. Here but we in this particular topic here, we are going to discuss business proposals. While drafting a business proposal, we must be thoroughly familiar with the requirement of the client here regarding the problem, needed solution, specific work to be done or equipment to be installed, number of the copies required, deadlines and so forth. Everything should be mentioned in the proposal letter here. Here you have to convince the reader or a review committee that you have fully understood what the organization problem is and you are well qualified to solve that problem. Now these proposals, business proposal are mainly of three types, like formally solicited proposal, informally solicited proposal and unsolicited proposal. Formally solicited proposal, you can say, are written in response to the publisher's requirement. Here it contains a request for proposal, that is RFP. RFP means what? Request for proposal. Then it contains RFQ. RFQ means what? Request for quotation. Then it contains IFB. IFB means you can say invitation for bid. And last one is RFI. It means request for information. Now we are going to see this all fours in detail. First one is request for proposal. Now here students, request for proposal provides detailed specification of what the customer wants to buy and sometimes includes directions for preparing the proposal, as well as evaluation criteria of the customer will also evaluate the offers, customer issues, requests for proposals when their needs cannot be met with generally available product or services. Then RFI means request for information are issued to qualify the vendors who are interested in providing services or products for specific requirement based on the response of the request for information. So here you can say request for proposal is issued to qualified vendors who the organization believes can provide desired services. Proposal in response to the request for proposal are seldom less than 10 pages and sometimes it can also reach to 1000 of pages without cost data. After that is request for quotation. Now customer issues are request for quotations when they want to buy large amount of commodity and price is not only issue here. For example, when the availability or delivering or services are consideration, request for quotation can be very detailed. So proposal request written to request for quotation can be lengthy but generally much shorter than request for proposal. Request for quotation here students consists primarily of cost data, brief narratives addressing customers issues such as quality control, etc. After that is IFB. IFB means what? Invitation for bid. Now customer issues information for bid. Invitation for information for bid here when they are buying some service such as construction. For example, the requirements are detailed but the primary consideration is price. For example, a customer provides architectural blueprints for contracts to bid on. This proposal can be lengthy but most of the length comes from cost estimating data and detailed schedules. After that is RFI, means request for information. Sometimes before the customer issues request for proposal, request for quotation or invitation for bid, the customer issues RFI, that is request for information, to gain marketing intelligence about what product, services and vendors are available. Requests for information are used to shape final RFP, RFQs and IFB. So potential vendors, they take great care in responding to this request, hoping to shape the eventual formal solicitation towards the products or services. After that, we are going to see is informally solicited proposal. Now, informally solicited proposal are typically the result of conversation which are held between a vendor and a prospective customer. The customer is interested enough in a product or service and he or she, you can say, ask for a proposal. Typically, the customer does not ask for competing proposal from the vendors. This type of proposal is known as sole source proposal. There are no formal requirement to respond, but they choose good quality of product here. Then last one is unsolicited proposal. Unsolicited proposal are marketing brochures. They are always generic with no direct connection between the customer needs and specified requirement. Vendor use them to introduce a product or service to the prospective customer. They are often used as leave behinds at the end of the initial meeting with the customer, or giveaways or trade shows or other public meetings. They are not designed to close a sale, just to introduce the possibility of the sale for the client to know about your product. I hope you have understood this. So today we have done what are special reports, type of special reports. I have shown you the specimen of special report. After that we had seen what is informal report. I have shown you specimen of that. After that, proposals we have seen, mainly the business proposal, which is of three types, that is formally solicited proposal, informally solicited proposal and unsolicited proposal. I hope you have understood. Go through the video lecture again and just revise it. Thank you.